What is up, Fire and the Kid fam? What a weekend. Ev, you look like you have a little bit of UFC 202 hangover, my man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, I've got the 202 flu real bad.
Get the 202 flu. The 202 flu. You shouldn't
It takes a couple days to recover from that one.
You shouldn't have a flu there should be no sadness. I think it's and I tweeted this out. I think it's the best fight in the UFC, and I can't remember, man. For me, it was a game changer. I think it was not only the most important fight in UFC history, but it delivered. Name the last fight of that magnitude that delivered. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, terrible. Granted, Floyd did a great job, but it was a terrible fight. Think how much hype was around this fight, and you couldn't write this. You know what I'm saying? You literally you couldn't write how good this fight was. And I gotta be honest, man. When Conor they made him walk out first. Obviously, he lost the last one, and it's not even his division. And Nate's ranked higher, so that's why he walks out first. But when he was walking out, I knew it was going to be a good night because how serious he was. If you remember the first fight, me and Cal were watching it together at Frank Grilla's house. The first fight with Nate Diaz, when he walked out and he's high-fiving like he's in the club, I looked at Brian and went, oh, no. He doesn't realize what kind of animal he's dealing with. I went, I don't think this can be good. And Brian goes, why do you say that? I went, he's not focused. He's not taking it serious. He thinks it's just another walk in the park. And you're fighting, not only fighting one of the dogs of the UFC, but he's also experienced, way bigger, better boxer, and probably the toughest guy to ever walk through the octagon. As far as straight toughness, Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, both of those guys are first team all tough co-captains. I'd love to hear an argument say different. So when Conor in that first fight didn't take it as serious, I knew he was in trouble. This one, there was no games. You could tell he was nervous, which I love. He was dead serious, mouthpiece in, ready to go. But when he started doing well in that first round, then he started to get a little comfortable. Like, oh no, what are you doing, man? He has to deliver those antics and that entertainment value. I get. You got to win this. You lose this fight. You lose this fight. That's 2 in a row. It's over, bro. It's over as far as there's no more Mystic Mac. Now you're just Conor McGregor, and we can't sell that. It's a tough sell. You lose 2 in a row. It's a tough sell. The Mystic is gone. So first round, 2 knockdowns. You could have it at 10-8.
First round, or second round was.
Second round, 2 knockdowns. First round, 1 knockdown.
Yeah, first round, 1 knockdown.
So, and before I give my critique of this fight, remember, and there's so much nasty hate out there on the internet. It's okay to be a critical thinker and critique the fight. It doesn't mean you're a troll. It doesn't mean you hate one guy more. If you take your bias out of the fight and you just look at the fight, and I see the Diaz fans posting pictures when Conor turned his back and ran in the 5th round. Well, Conor fans can post 3 different times when Nate was sat on his ass from punches to the face. So you can't take one aspect of the fight and say, oh, he won because of this. By the 5th round, he was running. No, by the 5th round, he had the fight won, and he's just trying to survive. So first round, obviously, Conor 10-9. Second round, you could argue a 10-8, 10-9. Well, let's just go 10-9 for Conor. So you have first 2 rounds for Conor. Third round, you have a 10-9 for Nate. By that 3rd round, I was like, oh, shit, here we go again, maybe. And he looked gassed. He looked tired. That's when I was like, dude, you spent 6 figures on a camp, most expensive camp of all time. You tired after 8 minutes of fight? Like, he was tired, exhausted. Granted, he's getting kicked in the face, punched in the face, all that. So that's going to hurt your cardio, which you can't duplicate in training camp. So that 3rd round, I was like, damn, here we go. And people thought that was going to happen. I think Nate Diaz camp thought first 2 rounds, Conor's going to tee off. He's going to get going. He's going to light him up. And as he gets going, you just got they're like a tidal wave, man. I don't know if anyone else in the world can fight like Nate Diaz does. He's like the Terminator. He just keeps. And finally, like, God, dog, what? I've tried everything. I've done everything. He just keeps coming forward. And you just finally wilt and he wins the fight. That's how tough those guys are. So that 3rd round, I was like, man, we're in a little bit of trouble. 4th round, the old Mystic Mac dug deep. He dug deep, but you could tell he's in trouble. We started to get his flow back. Nate, all those leg kicks started to catch up with him. You could tell. And then obviously in the 5th round, so you have First 2 rounds, Conor, easy. That's not even a question. If you don't think Conor won the first round, you should never watch the sport again, and you should probably just go watch, I don't know, WWE, where you can predict the winners. So first 2 rounds, Conor all day. Third round, you have Nate. There's no argument there. 10-9 round. Fourth round, Conor. Again, that's a pretty easy one. Fourth round, Conor. It's very clear to me. There's no controversy here.
That's what I thought too.
There's literally no controversy.
I thought the exact same thing. First 2 clearly to Conor, fourth to Conor, third and fifth to Nate. I've seen people arguing, lots of people, including fighters, like UFC fighters on Twitter.
Legit fighters?
Yeah, arguing that Nate won the second round. Which I thought was probably the clearest one. Because he controlled like the last 90 seconds.
And he dropped him twice.
Yeah, it's like this isn't Pride where you score it based on like the last minute of a fight.
No, it's not the overall sum of the fight. It's round by round. So it's very clear 3-2. I didn't even think that was an argument. So when I saw flack on social media, I'm like, oh no, don't let your favoritism and your love for the Diaz brothers, who I love too, man. I'm so happy. $2 million, thank God, man. That guy deserves it. His star's only getting bigger. You could argue that Conor won that fight, but Nate Diaz won the war. Brian Count, ladies and gentlemen, about an hour and a half late. What's up, man?
Sometimes you just get stuck.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get stuck.
What's up, man?
Well, I've been in the car for 2 hours, but I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Nice. We got Ben Henderson on the show today.
I'm excited.
Big Ben.
I'm excited. Sorry to be late, everybody.
Did you bring my fucking cash? Is that I'm assuming you're late because you're at the bank counting my cash.
I was, dude.
You have it in a duffel bag in your car?
I do. I know you wanted cash.
The juice is running.
You said I want cash and not a check. So I had to go, and I kept counting it because I don't trust my banker. So that's why I'm late.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? And then I was counting it again because I know if I'm $1 short, you're going to take a hand in my face.
The juice is running, my man. Dude, speaking of that, not to change the subject and for sure giving my fucking money, but because I call it T. But the thing is I was watching, T. I was
I'm glad I jumped on board with that.
I can't wait to get into this.
We got my brother from another mother, the old Denver alumni, Ben Smooth Henderson is in the building.
Thank you guys for having me.
What's up, brother? Long time, man. I've wanted you on here for a while.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. Big fan, and I gotta shout out my boy Christopher Zubricki, who loves you guys.
Really?
He loves you. He gave me a full write up. He emailed me, "Oh, you gotta go over this. You gotta talk about this."
I love it, man.
Yeah, like he went in depth.
Is Christopher a fighter? Or?
He's a real estate agent and actually one of our best training partners. He's a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner. Yeah.
Jesus.
You got a lot of jiu-jitsu where you guys are at, right?
Yeah, a ton of jiu-jitsu. Down in Arizona, the jiu-jitsu community is huge down there.
Why is it so big down there? Because when you think jiu-jitsu, you don't think Arizona. Granted, I think about Bader, and there's a hotbed for MMA.
Yes,
but I don't think jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
till you and Crouch moved out there.
I think just the mindset of like the Old West, as far as MMA is concerned, why it's such a hotbed.
Yeah,
like the Old West mentality, showdown, shootout, guns still legal out there. Everyone walks around with a pistol on their head, and they have gravitated towards combat sports, MMA, jiu-jitsu, all of it.
The weather also, though. I mean, the weather also kind of lets you work out outside, or just it's not as
or not work out outside.
Well, yeah,
it's so hot. We just did a show in Phoenix, and we got off the plane, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, "Is this for real?" Like, I thought it was just the air from the buses blowing my face.
Who opened up the massive blow dryer?
It's pretty bad. I really, for me, I like the heat. I really do enjoy it. I quite like it. But when it gets to be 105 degrees, still triple digits, when it's midnight, when it's 1 a.m., that's when I had enough. Okay.
If it's enough for Benson Henderson, then you know there's an issue.
Yeah. And so I'll never forget you. So my very first jiu-jitsu class was with Ben and his coach, Crouch, who is the nicest guy, one of the best of all time.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Wait, that was your first jiu-jitsu class?
My first jiu-jitsu class ever in this weird Delgado's boxing, and it was upstairs.
How many years ago?
I don't even know. 8?
Had be 8, 9 years ago.
8, 9 years ago.
Yes.
And I remember the class, we were like warming up. I was training with this guy, and the guy's like, "Dude, you got to relax." I was tense. It's my friend. He's like, "You got to relax, man." And then Crouch came over and was just like, "Hey, man," because they were doing live rolling, and I didn't have enough experience yet to live roll. You know, I need to go. And Crouch goes, "Hey, watch this kid." Because Ben was rolling with a kid named Alvin Robertson, who's a monster, jiu-jitsu black belt, fought in the UFC, fought Kenny Floyd, fought the who's who. Yeah. And at the time, he was the main thing in Denver, so I knew who Alvin was. And John Crouch goes, hey, watch this kid, Ben. He's a wrestler, but watch him go with Alvin Robinson. Watch this. And it was like some shit I've never seen before. It was like those scraps you see in the Looney Tunes where it's just like the dust kick up and there's all. I was like, oh my God, what is going on
Dust
here?
was kicking up.
Yeah.
Alvin threw me a lot of beatings in those days for sure.
And you only had, at the time, one fight.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
I remember that.
Super early in my career.
Have you been a wrestler for most of your life? before?
Yeah, I started wrestling in high school.
All-American, right?
Yeah, two-time All-American at Dana College.
Yeah, Dana College. And then, so you guys went, what was crazy to me is you and Crouch took a risk and moved from Denver and started your own thing in Arizona, which most of the time, let's be honest, doesn't work out for guys.
Sometimes it definitely cannot. It's hard to make it work out, you know. We took a chance, like you said, moved out to Arizona. The original gym owner said, hey, I have this state-of-the-art brand new gym. I had this dream of starting a fight team and having a nice gym and having regular student members, but I don't have any fighters. You know, I got this place, but I don't have any fighters. Do you guys want to move out? So he was actually talking to Crouchy and Alvin Kid Robinson and a few of the other fighters. I just tagged along. I was like, hey, you guys all moving to Phoenix?
Little did they know.
I want to go too.
Yeah.
Let me tag along. So I tagged along with them down to Phoenix. And the original gym owner hooking him up with the per diem, or not per diem, but a little bit of sponsorship.
Yeah.
I cleaned the mats, mop the gym, clean the toilets, all that fun stuff for the first couple of years.
When you were doing that, did you, in your mind's eye, see yourself holding the belt as long as you did?
I wouldn't say I saw myself holding the belt, but I saw myself being successful, doing whatever it takes to be successful, work my butt off until I was successful. I saw myself doing that.
There was a lot of expectations on him. We all knew he was going to be. Yeah, he wasn't like this. Oh my God, Ben made it.
Because
We're like,
of your
yeah.
wrestling pedigree?
No, just the way he trained. He's so athletic and just better than everyone.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. He didn't come out of like, oh my God, Ben's doing it. No. Like amongst the fighters, we all knew Ben was going to be pretty special.
All right, first one that we got for you. Why do you fight with a toothpick in your mouth?
Seriously,
Such a
$1
good question. I
$1
forgot about that.
we had 100 of those.
First of all, how the fuck do you do it and not swallow that
But
toothpick?
why?
It's just a bad habit. It's just a bad habit.
Do you have one in right now?
I don't have one in right now.
Okay.
I don't have lunch yet. Normally, I'll have lunch, I'll have dinner, or whatever, messing around. I have a toothpick in, and then I forget about it. I go train, and I just have it in. I'll have one, going to go have lunch, and then I'll go to the venue, the fight venue afterwards. I just happen to have it in. I don't take it out. I forget about it, and then I'm walking up, and I'm going, I still have the toothpick in. Like, oh well, no biggie.
Yeah.
And I do it for practice all the time. Yes, my training partners, like I have for practice for boxing. We'll be boxing. I'll poke it out, and I'll figure about it. I'll play with it. I'll poke it out. I'll poke it back in. And you can tell the guys who are like newer at the gym, 'cause they look at me like,
Yeah.
you do. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's
How do you
okay.
not have holes in your face?
I was going to say, is that a
What?
psychological
It gets
anchor
wet.
now? Is it like a good luck thing? Or?
No.
It's almost a comfort thing, right? It's just a habit.
Just a habit, yeah.
Yeah.
The one time, actually, rolling with one of the first times I rolled with John Crouch, him and I were rolling, he caught me in a rear naked choke. But it didn't finish rear naked. He went to the neck crank instead. And while he was finishing the neck crank, he actually finished the neck crank, but I ended up getting the toothpick stuck in my freaking cheek. And I tapped to that.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, was the neck crank tight?" I didn't go to the rear naked. I adjusted. I went for the neck crank instead. Was that what you felt? Felt the neck crank? I pulled out the toothpick. It was all bloody. I was like, "Nah, you got my toothpick stuck in my cheekbone there."
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for? A while.
My mom said I've been doing it since I was really young. Since
It's
I
just
was
your
like,
thing.
yeah. She's. My mom said I saw it from my dad. Like, he always had a toothpick
Yeah.
in, so I got
That's
the bad
cool,
habit
man.
from him.
That's
him.
cool.
It scares the crap out of me now. Now I see my 7-year-old son 7 years from now, 6 years from now. I see him running around freaking our backyard with a toothpick in his mouth, falling down and
100%.
tripping and swallowing the toothpicks. That scares the crap out of me.
Yep.
How do you describe your mindset to win fights?
My mindset to win fights, I would have to say it's all about preparation. It's all about hard work in preparation. For me, I value nothing else on this planet more. I value at utmost is just hard work, putting in the hard work. I don't care what it is. You could be a cook or a line cook or a chef or a reporter or whoever. I value hard work. So for me, putting in the hard work is how I look to going into a fight. If I did the hard work, I don't have no worries. I always use like the analogy of because everybody has experienced this. Most of us have experienced this in high school, where you have a test. And did you do the hard work? Did you prepare for the test? Going into a test, if you're ready for it, if you prepared for it, you're not worried. Like, it's
that
fine.
is the best.
I can
you almost can't wait to take the test.
I can give this test to myself.
Yeah.
Backwards, forwards, in and out, no problem. But then also, we've all had those tests where we didn't study for it. Like, oh man, I didn't study for this one. I'm not ready for that one. Yeah. So then you have your anxiety. Then you're nervous. Then you're a little bit more.
But you got to be smart with your work too, right? It's got to be smart hard work.
Oh, for sure.
Because hard work can just be a grind. Like, you see a lot of people that are grinders.
Yeah.
And they stay super busy, but they're working. Their energy is.
Well, it's quality work.
Yeah. Well, people always say, "Oh yeah, you can work hard or work smart." I'll work smart. Like, I want to work smart and hard. How about that? I'm gonna double up.
That's why you're world champion, sir.
Yeah. I'm gonna do both.
Times.
Yeah. So my mindset going into fights is how I prepared for it, how I got ready for it, knowing I did every extra sprint, knowing that I did all the workouts, I didn't skip any, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. My mindset going into fights is if I did that hard work, if I'm fully prepared, I'm good to go.
Well, it's Wednesday morning. I'm gearing up to go to the Columbus Funny Bone Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm excited, and overall, I'm feeling good. Brendan is wearing a wonderful striped sailor outfit. What's going on, my friend? What is going on?
I don't give a shit that you're in Funny Bone.
Well, the people do out there. The people do.
You'd be surprised. What have you been up to, man?
What have I been up to? I have been managing my real estate, acting, writing stand-up, crushing it, driving my Tesla, and exercising and feeling good. That's what I've been
Things
up
are
to.
going well?
They're
Things are going well for you?
They couldn't be going better.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is my money?
Your money?
My money.
The $3,000?
Hey, remember when we bet on the Conor
I'll get that to you. I'll be getting that
Diaz
to
fight?
you.
No. It was due Monday.
What do you mean it's due Monday? I didn't know there was a due date on it. Give me a second. I have a lot of bills.
Second?
Well,
It's
I was just
Wednesday,
getting
bitch.
I know, but I have a lot of. Can I get a little breathing room, please? Let me
ask you something.
Let me get it to you in pieces. Are you really going to collect the money?
Am I going to collect my... Let me ask you something. Have
Yeah.
you ever seen Zero Dark 30?
Have I seen Zero Dark, the movie? Yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
I watch it every night.
Every night.
Every night before bed.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why are you looking at me like that?
I need my fucking money.
I'll get you your money, dude. Well, let's not do this on the... Hey, what are you... Get off me! Hey, seriously! Oh, I can't see! What are you doing? I can't see! I can't... What are you doing?
You don't have to do this.
No! Hey, Keely, or somebody call the police. What the fuck are you doing? I'll get your...
Where is my money?
Oh, please, not the water. It's so cold in my throat.
Why are you always late?
I gotta explain. Hold on. Let me just give me a second. Give me a second.
What'd you do with my money?
Water in my throat. I'm gonna get you along. I swear to God, don't pour any more water in my throat. I can't. I drank too much this morning.
Why are you always late to the show?
Because traffic, but I'm not.
Why do you lie all the time?
No.
Dear God.
Please. Okay, I'll give you your money.
Just give me the goddamn money.
I'll give you your money. Just give me a second.
Where's the money?
I got it. It's in my car. Let me just go
That's not
get
gonna
it.
work. I don't trust you.
No, God, trust me.
I don't trust
Listen,
you.
no more water
I don't
in my
trust
throat.
you.
No, I got. Just let me go to my fuck.
Ev, you got square, right?
Square? What the fuck? Hey, what are you doing?
Where the fuck's
Yeah.
your wallet?
My wallet? Why? I only have credit cards in there.
Yeah, I know. Hold.
Please. What's going on? What are you doing?
Run that shit. 3,500.
No. What?
3,500.
He's at 3,000.
No, the juice, buddy.
Get over it. No, I don't
Need
want
you to
that.
sign,
I'm
pal.
not signing that. You can't.
Need you to sign.
This
Oh,
is
yes,
bullshit.
you are.
Oh, my God. You're hurting my head. You're hurting my head. Oh, God. Please. I play the drums. God. God. Oh, my.
Damn it.
And so now everybody auditions for it. It was this long, crazy. In fact, when I got the job, they said, "You want to feel good?" I said, "Yeah." And they showed me all the actors that had auditioned that didn't get it. And I went, "Wow, this business."
So let me ask you this. So you do the audition. It's the longest, hardest audition. You see all the guys in line, and you walk out. Did you think you got it when you walked out?
Well, first of all, the audition started in New York. Everybody who was a comedian, everybody who was an actor was auditioning for this.
So you're already in New York because you're born and raised there. You were in New York. The audition was there.
Yeah.
So you went and did the audition.
Yes. So
did an agent tell you to do this, or did you word of mouth?
I did some stand-up, this weird character in stand-up. I was just starting to do stand-up.
I wish there was film of that.
I just started doing stand-up at a place called Rebar that Dave Becky, who owns 3 Arts, and he had put it on. And in fact, David Blaine called up Dave Becky and said, you gotta see my boy Brian Callen. And Dave Becky said, all right. And I sent him a tape of me pretending I was a penguin. I was reborn a penguin.
Fantastic.
Terrible. But he goes, you're unique. I want to put you on. Put me on, and a guy named Ken Trush saw me. He was
he an agent?
He was a manager.
A manager? And he had a tie, and then he knew about Mad TV auditions.
And Mad TV had fired someone, and they were looking for sort of a leading man. They didn't have a quote-unquote leading man. And back then, I was a cutie pie. We need a leading man who can be physical and funny.
Go ahead and put up that bat signal for the kid.
Go ahead and put the bat signal on the kid.
So you go to audition, which on what day? Thursday afternoon or some shit?
Well, back then, what you would do is you would put yourself on. You would videotape. They would videotape you and send the tape. No digital. They'd send
VHS.
the tape via UPS or whatever to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But what I did was I went in and the tape somehow got lost. So my manager said, "Can you put yourself on tape right away? And here are the sides." They gave me the sides. Back then, you had to go pick up the sides at your agency.
No, they're not emailing them to you.
No,
yeah.
no such thing as email.
Sometimes pigeons to you. And
sometimes
shit.
Pigeons. They would send a pigeon. I get him. I'm with Jimmy Burke, who you know well, and it's a love. I had to do a thing with a woman.
Shout out to Jimmy Burke.
Shout out to Jimmy Burke. I had to do a love scene, and Jimmy goes, "Why don't you do it with me?"
Of course.
And I did it with him. And
did he have a wig on or something?
He had. I don't remember. He may have had a wig on. I have the tape somewhere. It's incredible. And what got me the part they said was that I kept finding out that he was like, "I'm your sister." I was like, "What?" And he goes, "I'm also your mother." What? And the line was "what?" And I kept taking the "what?" and I kept going, "What?"
Which I got from you and I do now.
By the last "what" though, I went, because he goes, and I'm pregnant with your baby. And finally I went, ooh. And that was my what? Dude, they told me they fell the fuck out. And I get a call the next day and go, pack a bag, you're going to LA tomorrow.
Hey, can we talk a little bit about the McGregor Diaz fight?
Sure, man. Let's get your thoughts first.
Well, I was training at the gym the other day with.
Because I'll talk about animals all day.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about UFC too.
We'll get back to animals after this. Go ahead.
So I was training at the gym with a guy who went, and he had great front row seats, and I was excited about that because I love that matchup. I love McGregor and I love Diaz. And I said, so how did it feel in the room? And he said, it actually felt like in the room that Diaz won 3 out of those 5 rounds. And I was like, oh, really? I said, obviously, it's a pro-USA room because it was Vegas, right?
Did your friend get stung by a centipede before he saw the fight? Or?
That's what I said. Yeah. I was like, fuck. It felt to me, from an outsider's point of view, that McGregor fought the smartest fight. He didn't fight Diaz's fight. He stayed away. He put a massive cut in his eye, right?
Horrible cut, yeah.
And from a professional point of view, did you guys feel like Diaz was purposefully flopping onto the canvas to try and bring him down?
No, I think Conor McGregor's punches are what sat him down. But
really?
Yeah, and he did it before, but it's very strange to me. Like, Diaz has this huge following. I get it, man. I love both those guys. They are legends, man. Yeah. And whatever's next for him, we have and we do it here. We have a bias for Conor because he's such a big draw, and he was the winner. We always talk about what's next for Conor, but no one's talking about what's next for Diaz, because for Diaz, the biggest payday and the best thing for him is a trilogy fight. Yeah. That's where he's going to make the most money. So no one talks about it. And Danny goes, we're moving on from the trilogy. If I'm Nate Diaz, I'm going, the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're moving on? This is my payday.
But if Conor had lost, they would have done the trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So that's a real bummer. I mean, I thought Diaz. I would like to see Diaz at a lighter weight because he's so long.
They'll
and
fight at
wiry
55
anyway.
next.
He's gonna
Because
look-
remember, Diaz at 55, and he's ranked number 6 or 5th in the world at 70. He's like 8 or 9.
Right.
I forget what they have him ranked, but
Those
but there again, there's this thing with the Diaz brothers, especially Nate right now with this fight. There's the people wanting to win so bad, they're blind to the fact that just take your bias out of it. He lost the fight. It's not
Yeah.
it's not even that controversial.
Yeah.
So when I hear this, and it's everywhere, that there's this weird controversial fight, it's like, no, man.
I think
it's
in the
very-
room in Vegas, obviously, a lot of people, you could hear the crowd were into Diaz. There was a few Irish fans singing as well. But, like, I mean, I just thought that Conor fought a smarter fight. He fought his own fight. He was in his head in a sensible way much more. And those front leg kicks, man. Like, if I got one of those front leg kicks, I would be like, okay.
And they also caught up to Conor too,
That
because
stings.
he's not a kicker, so it affected him later
Broke
on in
his
the fight.
foot in the third round.
Yeah, supposedly after the fight, he collapsed, right?
This is my thing. Yeah, he was on crutches.
Frodo and Bilbo and all this kind of stuff. So I got a phone call from agents saying they are casting. It's an open casting for Lord of the Rings, so it's not going to be, you're not going to be in a room with 5 people. You're going to be waiting in line like this.
It's like American Idol.
50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go. So I went. I was playing. It was weird because I was playing a skinhead in a play at the time, and I'd accidentally got into a fight on a train. There was nothing. I didn't do anything.
But they thought you were a skinhead.
They
or
thought I was
something?
kind of a thug, and they thought that I was into fighting because I looked like I was, and they were like, "We're gonna steal your jacket," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then they tried to steal my jacket, and I got punched. So I showed up in the audition with like not a black eye, but like a slightly yellow eye, and I was kind of like telling them that was the reason. I think I slightly stood out because of that, and I knew the casting directors. And the casting director, John Hubbard, who still is huge in England, said to me when I was leaving, because he'd seen that play and he kind of had been out drinking with me a bit. He said, "Hey, David Bowie's coming in the next hour or so. So if you want to like sit in the waiting room and see David Bowie come in, you can do that." And I was like, "Fuck yeah."
David Bowie.
Yeah.
So we say Bowie.
Potato.
Okay, right.
David Bowie. I was like, who's David Bowie?
David Bowie.
Well, he said
Once
it
you
in
learn the
voice.
language, Dominic.
What do you got, Ev?
First big one from today is this is not a complete done deal, but it's basically a formality that it's a done deal. Rory MacDonald was signing with Bellator after the UFC could not match terms for his new contract.
Must have been a crazy contract.
No numbers available yet.
The numbers come out, or I'll get you guys numbers.
get the numbers.
Because I know his agent. But
It's interesting. It's a big mutiny.
it's a big deal.
Are you surprised?
No. I know Rory, and I also know Rory's relationship with the UFC. I don't want this to sound bad, but we had Ben Henderson on Monday, and Ben and I've known Ben forever. Remember when Ben was in the UFC, and he's this UFC legend. He's on the Mount Rushmore 155, if you have one, and he's sitting there talking. And granted, he's older, stuff like that. I don't know. It's not a knock on Bellator. I was just like, you really don't hear about Ben anymore, do you? You just don't. It's just not the same. Yeah. It's just not the same. It's just not.
It's not the same show.
Well, people fall into this trap of there's competition. There's no competition.
Right.
It's literally like it's CFL and NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just
that's
like
a fair comparison.
it's like MLS, American soccer compared to Premier League.
Right.
That's the better comparison.
Right.
It's MLS who gets the David Beckhams when they're 40,
Retirees.
who get these retirees who they're out of their prime. They sign them, they market the shit out of them. We tune into the big games, but other than that, we're really not paying attention.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a knock on Bellator, and I love Ben to death. He knows this. I tell this to himself. But when he sat down, I thought, I don't know, man. I don't know if it was the right choice. Financially, it sounds like it was, which is what these guys are doing. For Rory, he just lost to Wonder Boy. Didn't look like he was going to beat him. Mm-hmm. He had that amazing fight with Robbie Lawler. He's still, I think he's number 2 in the world.
I like Rory MacDonald.
I
He's
love
one
Roy.
of my favorite fighters coming out. He absolutely
Roy.
destroyed an English guy. Do you remember when he got this
Shay
light-skinned
Mills.
black guy? Oh my god!
We fought on the same
Tarek
card.
Safadine, the way he fought Tarek Safadine.
Bone thing.
Yeah.
He's like the Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Barely looks at you. And
Shay
just comes
Mills,
at
man.
him.
I just financially, I'm sure you get paid a boatload. And really, if you guys want fighter pay to go up and fighter rights to pay up, the best thing is this stuff. Before you talk about union or anything, competition is what's gonna help everyone out. So by him going there, it's a step in the right direction. they have so many guys that have to sign, and they can't be older guys that it's going to take so long.
You need a rivalry too. I mean, they're big shoes to fill. I mean, when you think of mixed martial arts, you think of UFC. When you are a mixed martial arts fighter, the pinnacle is the UFC. That's your goal.
Well, no one dreams
UFC
about
champion.
no one dreams about being in Bellator.
Name one Bellator champion. You know the Bellator, and I follow it.
Well, I
love
can
it.
for sure,
But
but
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What was the Japanese one that was around for a hot minute?
In Bellator,
Remember
Pride.
Where did Pride go?
That was bought up.
UFC bought it and shut it down.
Yeah.
And then
Very
took it.
clever.
Yeah.
See, they created a
they have a
monopoly.
monopoly for sure.
Monopoly.
It's not even an argument if they have a monopoly. It's how they got the monopoly. Was it legal? That's the legal issues there. That's what they're going through.
Yeah.
They know they have a monopoly. It's just how they went about getting that monopoly. Was it all legal? And that's what people are looking into. But for Roy, I'm happy for him. Again, obviously, I bet he's probably I guarantee he's the highest paid Bellator fighter. I bet he's making more than Rampage, which is a crazy contract. He's the face of Canada since GSP's out. I just don't know, man. I don't know.